Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Hello and welcome back to the final episode of the No Charging Challenge. Let's see what we can accomplish compared to the other run, which was episode 30. Okay, at the end of the last video of the No Charge Challenge, what I said would happen would be that we'd be using a lot of fan cases to get some content that we previously didn't get. Because fan cases can be destroyed, and if you don't collect the gem, they can be reused. So as you've just seen there, we use the fan case to bash open one of the metal chests, and then we have to unceremoniously kill ourselves and repeat the process until we've got all available chests. Now there's quite a few metal chests that we missed on this particular challenge, as many as we can. You see, the fan cases, they don't have a set distance of how far they will go. They will actually target to the nearest object. That could be a chest, it could be an enemy, or it could be a torch. But they'll only still go so far. So we've got 162 gems now from Town Square, and we move on to Dry Canyon, where the fan chest can reach that chest, which initially I thought was too far away. I tried it a bunch of times, but eventually one time it fired just far enough to get me up to 380 gems. Magic Crafters, this is no surprise that we was going to encounter a lot of them here, because there's a lot of enemies in the very start of the Magic Crafters homeworld that can actually be reached using this fan case abuse. I'm just going to try here to lure them a bit further because the fan case doesn't quite reach these two enemies. So I'm going to try that again. And we're going to fire it up to the enemy in the middle of the pond there, and we succeed. I'll have to ponder further on this strategy. Now, believe it or not, on the PAL version that doesn't work. You can't actually get this enemy in the middle of the pond, it just doesn't reach. I've often heard the phrase that no gem is an island. It was actually deleted dialogue from one of the dragons that ended up saying, "Thank you for releasing me." Also ignore the scores, because the scores are not necessarily correct. I'm pretty confident I've got everything that I can get with the fan cases, and so I'm going to collect the gems from those fan cases. As I said, I tried those two enemies multiple times, and I just couldn't reach far enough to get them. So we're going to have to do without those. Alpine Ridge. Again, more enemies that we can use this strategy on. Once again, in the PAL version, there's a bit of a problem using this particular fan case, but on the American version, we can actually get the enemies that we need. There's one. Kill myself, and you'll see me do this a few times on this level. Takes me back, and I'm just going to fast forward to when I use the fan case again. This time I'm going to use it to open some... we're going to use it to kill that enemy down there, sorry. He was originally riding a monster, and we had to kill the monster with flame and then use the fan chest to get him. I'm not sure if it works while he's still mounted on the monster. But we came a lot further than I expected. We need to lure him slightly out of the way because they constantly keep moving. And that's how we get him. That was actually a lot harder than you think because the fan case doesn't know who to target. You have to lure him so he's closer first and then move further away. Again, dragon count's wrong, pay no attention to that. This is because I re-ran through the game so that the fan cases would reappear. So bear that in mind. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this strategy, but it needs to be done to get all of the gems. And that one was actually a pretty good one. It got 2 cases. Killed 2 chests with 1 fan, if you like. Kill myself again. Luckily I have enough lives to maintain this strategy, because if I didn't, I'd be game overing a bunch of times as well, which is more edited footage for me. And there goes the last chest, and I believe, if I recall correctly, that's everything that we can get with that particular fan case. We've got all the enemies in that area, and we got all the chests. It's about as far as it can go. You could say we got Olympic gold for all of our effort with that fan chest. Exit level, and we get an extra, well, it says 443 gems, but it's not that many extra. So ignore the total treasures and all that. Again, the score will be rectified at the very end of this challenge. Wizard Peak, where we actually missed quite a lot of things, and for once it's not to do with fan cases, which is a nice break in this challenge because that's all we've covered so far up until this point. We got to these 3 podiums here with some stuff on them. Usually you're supposed to supercharge up to that podium over there, which you can see obviously on the other challenge run, and then you can glide to the second podium and then to the first podium. That doesn't really help us though, because we're not allowed to supercharge, obviously. So what can we do about this? Well, I'm just going to charge temporarily to show you what the view is like from up there. So ignore this. I'm not going to break anything, I'm not going to kill anything, nor even going to break open that strongbox. I am, however, going to go to the top of the supercharge ramp. And I'm actually just going to supercharge over there so we can get a look about what things look like. Yep. Alright. So we're missing quite a bunch of stuff on 3 podiums. We're missing stuff on this podium. We're missing stuff on there. I accidentally collected the 3 gems already that are also on that podium, so there's also supposed to be 3 gems there. Don't worry, they will reappear. And then we have that podium down there. So I had a bit of an idea. Because I know Spyro at this point pretty much inside out, I've considered myself a lot better at the game now than I was when I first started this challenge run. We've actually come to understand the geography of levels, or I should say I've started to understand the geography of levels a lot more clearly. If we look over there to the left, guess what? We can see the place where the wizard, the Elder Wizard usually stands. He's the second Elder Wizard. That's where the second Elder Wizard usually stands. And in front of there is the pond, and of course then the supercharge ramp. So that doesn't really help. That's really far away. That's not going to help us get all the way over here. But how about this mountain here? You see, behind this mountain, I'm going to show you what is behind it. And it's actually going to help us out. So I'm going to run back up to the top of the supercharged ramp, and guess what? This is where we're up to. That's where the Elder Wizard is that we can see from the podiums. And guess what? This is the mountain that stands between us and the podiums. Well, I think it's pretty obvious to you guys now. There's no surprise about what needs to be done to actually get some more in this level. So, without further ado, let's give her a shot. You glide around the corner, not too sharply, but you want to wall hog the cliffs so that you will actually maintain Spyro's height for longer. Now, if we could charge, we could actually make it to the other platform, but we can't. So the rest of the things that we are missing in Wizard Peak are obviously enemies that need to be charged, and the fan case can't actually help us with any of those. We're also missing up here. Usually you're supposed to supercharge down the first ramp as before, and then you can supercharge up this ramp and have enough speed to clear this gap over here. You jump and then you can either glide or you can actually make it just by charging. It's up to you. But the reason why this is such a big disappointment is because this right here is what stands between us and having 12 out of 12 eggs. That'd be 100% egg completion. Unfortunately though, we're just going to have to look longingly into the distance. The thief is over there mocking us, I know it. Oh, also, hello there, Insomniac Games Moon. Looks like what you see in the Ratchet & Clank games. But yeah, if you listen closely, I think you can still hear the thief mocking us even now. Let's not get bogged down too much by missing that last egg though. I'm already swamped with other things that I need to do in this challenge, such as going to the very end of Misty Bog, where I got some of these gems already. But there's also some extra gems that we can obtain using our fan case strategy once again. Would you believe it? We're back to that. Sorry for the repetitive nature, but that's what we need to do. We got all these chests already, but what we didn't do was take advantage of the 3 fan cases, but we're actually just going to use one, and that's the closest one for obvious reasons. Simple, we flame it 3 times, we don't get the gem. I've deliberately lost sparks so that I can't get the gem as easily by mistake. Killed one, it went right over this guy's head, which I'm a bit surprised about. Gonna get the gem and die in the process. If I recall correctly, on this challenge run, I already got at least one guy using the fan case strategy. It's just I picked up the gem and therefore was not able to get the rest. But you're about to see me Alpine Ridge style die a lot just so that I can abuse this strategy, and would you believe it? It may well be possible to get all of them. It's a long shot because some of them are pretty far away, but we're going to try our best. And I'm actually going to use the back case there just so I can get the closer enemy. I'm wondering if the front case actually just overshoots him. I'm going to fast forward. I actually touched the dragon pad to make sure the enemy doesn't respawn. Luckily the fan cases still respawn even if you touch the dragon plate for saving checkpoints. It's just the enemies don't respawn, which is great news for us. So what the strategy is for this is, it's actually about coaxing these enemies from their actual locations. This enemy is not too bad, but these 2 enemies, I think, are actually going to be a bit more of an issue because they don't want to move quite so far away from their starting location. Touch the dragon pad again. Oh, we got 3. Okay, we got 3. Come at me, baby. There we go. We've lured him close enough where we can actually hit him again. One, 2, 3. And there we go. That's another 2 gems. I'm not sure if they're all worth 2 gems. Oh, there's one that was worth 5, I think. Rinse and repeat. Back down here. I'm just going to fast forward to when we're back on the bridge again. And I'm actually aiming for the back guy here. They will actually follow you for quite a long while. And so now he's also close enough for us to hit. That leaves 1 more, and let me just tell you, this guy was a nightmare to get moving. This next guy, I'm not ashamed to say, it took me a lot of attempts to get him to follow me. I had to essentially glide off the bridge and glide back on it and time it just right so that he would actually follow me far enough. But eventually we do get him close enough to here. And we kill him and take his gem. And now we can take the golden gem. And we can flame the 2 fan cases just for good measure because we can. And now we're going to get the final score for Misty Bog. Now it says 413, but that's because in this particular footage right here, I've yet to go back behind the start of the level where there's the 2 blue gems to put me up to 423. So my actual score for Misty Bog is 423. And in this little clip here, you're seeing me try to convince the boar to kill this 1 more armored enemy, but for some reason the boar is just not interested in the 1 enemy that was actually going out of his way to try and make a pork belly sandwich. Maybe the boar is just too pig-headed to do our dirty work for us, I don't know. What a load of old hogwash, if you ask me. Wait, that sound. Ah, get out of my head! This thief has really put me in a dark mood as we enter Dark Passage, where we can use this red Cupid to get these 2 chests that were very easy that I missed on my first run through. I noticed in episode number 29 I charged these 3 chests, so I'm just going back to flame them, just to show you that I can. That's not any additional gems, that's just a pride thing. It's a principle. Haunted Towers. Now, Haunted Towers actually was a unique level for this challenge run. It was the only level where I pretty much got everything I could right on both challenges because I couldn't access the main tower. So just like the no flaming challenge, in the no charge challenge, this challenge, we explored the whole first area down there, and we explored this area up here. There was only one exception between this particular challenge and the other challenge, and that was that we was able to use Super Flame to get through the door and up the whirlwind, where we met with a supercharged ramp, and there's a door that needs to be supercharged open. Super Flame will not reach that far. It cuts out, I tested it, it cuts out about 8 or 9 seconds before I can reach that door, so that's not a viable option. So what we ended up doing was we wall hogged the main tower, and we glid from up there around to this area. Once again, we're met with a few extra gems and a chest, and a strong box that we couldn't break open due to the fact that we needed supercharge, and again Super Flame won't last long enough by a long shot to reach there. We then had a metal door to the right, and so we couldn't break through that, and the other area where the end of the level is, I'm just going to try and jump up. You can see the clock tower over there, or I guess a tower at least. That's the end of the level, and it's too high for us to actually glide from the low end. You can just see the sort of purpley grey square that's like directly ahead of us. That's actually the platform to glide not glide, but to walk up to from the other side of the door, and it's too high up for us to actually reach from down there. But just like the other challenge where we abused the wizard to use a proxy to get up over the metal door, well, there's another wizard that we can actually use, and I'm not going to say any more, just watch what happens here. What happens is truly magical. Alley-up, and there you have it. We use the exact same kind of proxy that we used on the other challenge, but a different wizard, different place, and we can skip supercharging to the quote-unquote secret area of Haunted Towers. We can then access something that we thought not possible, which is another dragon, Capano.
You've become a master of the supercharge. Great work.
What supercharge? Clearly this dragon needs to get with the program. Once again, the proxy works by entering into the wizard's hitbox and hitting jump, and I do know that at the very end of that glide there I did tap square to charge, but I was going to make that glide anyway. If you watch it, you can see I'm going to make it anyway. It's just in my excitement of getting it, I just finished it off with a charge, which is a bit ironic. Didn't want to have to try and get the proxy again because it's not all that consistent. But anyway, so what do we have here? We have a time puzzle where the wizard starts to reanimate stuff, and because we can't charge, we need to casually trot all the way to the top and kill the wizard before he can reanimate the last knight. If he reanimates that last knight, we can't reach him and we have to die and try again. And now, this is where we break Haunted Towers. This fairy will give us a super kiss, a super flame super kiss, because she's such a hot mama. And with this super flame, we can actually break open every single chest. Reason being, this super duper duper flaming power never stops. We have it for the whole level. If we could take it out of the level, we could obviously break the entire game and challenge and get everything, but we can't. It's just exclusively for the Haunted Towers. Your reward for finding the hidden area is super flame permanently in the level. Which means, obviously, we can actually 100% Haunted Towers now. There's no secret there. There's nothing that we need charge for that we can't use Super Flame for. This area here was originally the only thing that I thought, okay, maybe we're not going to be able to access this, but this is actually what has the Super Flame in anyway. We can access this part, we can actually finish Haunted Towers. And that's not a small thing, that is a lot of gems. That's a strong box with a lot of gems. And it's also an extra dragon with Capano, but we're not through here. We drop through the secret square and we can access the main tower where we find the exit, and we'll just blow everything open, break open the knights, we can break open all of these chests. I'm going to start calling Spyro from now on Red Eyes Black Dragon, Infernal Fire Blast. And we have another fairy here who won't actually kiss us because we have super duper flame. We don't need her kiss. She's a lesser species of fairy apparently. Rumor has it she also has dragon pox. We can actually rescue Latolo.
Here comes Spyro.
Patience, little one. You'll soon have the opportunity to battle the one who matters most. Nasty Nork.
Another dragon who needs to get with the program. We took care of Ganasty Ganork a long time ago. Latolo, what he really should have said was the deleted dialogue of Spyro, you're such a hot dragon. All the girls will be wanting you after finishing this challenge run. And by all the girls I mean none of them, because who does a challenge run so ridiculously time consuming and hard like this? Who? What kind of idiot would do that? Well, you're listening to him. Okay, we can also then go to the end of the level, kill the Grenadier, and it's easy as pie. There is actually another fairy over here which you're supposed to use to kill all of these knights, since Supercharge isn't supposed to be able to get you up to this part, but it can if you're really good, like I am. We can clear up everything. We can get all the chests up here. Ignore the fairy, she can't do anything anyway. And yep, last one. And there's the final wizard who reanimated them. Goodbye, 10 gems and 10 more gems. Now we already got the knights from the start of the level, so we don't need to worry about those. 500 out of 500 gems, another completed level. Get in the bag. If I do say so myself, that there was some real hot fire. Speaking of hot fire,
it's over 9,000!
The name is Manic, you can add the X. Beating me in races is your ultimate test. Then wait for the videos, edit, render and process. Stay and race, just don't leave a mess.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
fan cases again, here we come. We can use this fan case to shoot over the hut and actually hit the enemy that was patrolling around this area. Unfortunately, we can't use the fan case to hit the enemy that's further away, because he's just too far. Even if we use the case to the left there, it just doesn't reach him. We can also use this fan case at the end of the level to get this enemy. There were 3 of those little mechanical troopers patrolling around here. We got one already using the fan case in the initial run, but we didn't get the second guy, which we can get. We can't get the third guy. He doesn't behave like the Misty Bog enemy. He actually just ignores us and will not follow us. He does move, he just doesn't move towards us, and he's pretty uninterested in following us. Back to Dark Passage now, where I found out if you dodge this Cupid's arrow, eventually the arrow will actually collide with the UFO turtle and kill him. When the UFO turtle is big, he's obviously invincible to the Cupid's arrows, and when he's small, the arrow will just go right over his head, kind of like the spell that was supposed to turn Spyro into stone. But if you actually wait patiently, eventually the arrow will actually hit him when he's transitioning. not genders, but just transitioning from height big to height small, it can actually damage him. There's another enemy though that we missed in Dark Passage, and it's this turtle right here. I initially tried about 50 times to get the arrow to hit this turtle and gave up because it just wasn't happening. But one time out of the another 15 tries I did, he finally got by the arrow. And I got by the Hellhound. So everything works out. The dog gets a dragon treat and I get a gem. In the last episode of the no charging challenge, I actually showed me getting to these gems up here on the right, on top of that green or teal coloured platform, by essentially getting up onto the balcony over there, gliding onto the wall to the left, and then gliding from that wall to the left over to here. I glid from there to where I'm looking right now, and once again I glid wall hogging that pink building's roof to make onto that bridge. From there I was able to do a jump and sort of the head jerk at the end of the glide so that I could make it onto that platform. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because I did legalize the head jerk in the very first video that I made of this challenge. But just to show that for those of you that don't want to even use the head jerk, if you ever attempt this challenge and you don't want to even use the head jerk, if you still believe that that is charging, there is actually another method I figured out about how to get these gems without pressing square at all. So I'm going to show you that now, and it takes place. Again, ignore all the gems that are laid around because this is just me entering the level for the quote-unquote first time to show you where I'm going to be going. So right in front of us is actually where the supercharged castle is, and that's where usually you can use the supercharge to eventually get to the teal platform, which is on the other side of that bridge. But if you look directly up, that's where the supercharge ramp starts. I'm wondering if a well-timed glide could actually make it so that you can reach the teal platform without needing to use the head jerk at all. To the right obviously is the bridge, and that method's not going to work going that way. But what happens if I go to the left of this pink building and sort of hog around and hit the teal platform from the back, where you're supposed to hit it from the supercharge ramp? Let's give it a go and see what happens. I am the Spyro King of Lofty Castle. There we go, we can get the gems even without the head jerk, as this was the only thing the head jerk actually aided us in. We found a way to get it without head jerking at all. Legitimate in no matter what rule set that you set for this challenge. Twilight Harbor, a level where we was missing an exact same set of gems and enemies. And that is to the left there with the gold gems on the podium, and also to the right, excuse my charging, I'm just expositioning. Right above my head, it was to the right, now it's above my head, there is the room with lots of gems and 2 enemies. Now usually we need to use flame, which isn't the problem, to make the drawbridge go up, but then we also need supercharge to take advantage of the now risen drawbridge, where we will supercharge up the bridge and we can reach up to the extra enemies and extra gems. I promised in the last video that both challenges find a way to overcome what should be impossible for both challenges, because you usually need both. It does also involve the supercharge ramp. but not in the way that you think. We're not cheating, we're not charging. Instead, we're going to actually do one of the hardest glides I've ever had to do in a Spyro game. We're going to wall hog, and it will maintain our height so we can hit the certain angle on this platform, and we get a little bit of a proxy that bounces us upwards. Now, you will probably notice there is an enemy missing up here. That's because in this particular thing, I accidentally killed the enemy before recording, but when I remember to record, it doesn't matter anyway. I can still get up here using that glide. It's very, very luck based to get the proxy that way. It may be possible for you to actually glide cleanly onto this area, but I wasn't able to get it, except one time when I did kill the enemy and I actually forgot to record. But I did manage to get up here a second time, and I found that if you hit that specific angle, you'll either proxy downwards or sometimes you'll kind of flop upwards. It's really bizarre that it works, but it does. And with that, we're able to get a lot of extra stuff in Twilight Harbor. Hey look, it's a collection of fold up vermin.
I'm in the Navy.
You gotta believe!
That was the hardest glide of the whole challenge. This is the thief that literally stole away 8 hours of my life. He nearly gave me an existential crisis. But you know what they say. Revenge is a dish best served hot roasted! Burn the witch! Burn the witch! 12 out of 12 eggs, 100% completion of eggs. We can't get those chests, but don't rain on my parade. Alright, that is the end of the challenge of no charging, and consequently the end of the no flaming versus no charging challenges. RJ Waters 2 beat the no gliding challenge in 16 episodes. I had double the work, so it was only fitting it was going to take me double the episodes. But there will be one more episode. Episode 33 will be the video that reveals the scores and compares percentages. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who watched this challenge. I'd also like to thank 2 viewers in particular, Morgan and SpyroNet. Thanks for watching, guys. You're awesome.